I'm Tori London, and I'm so excited to be back and being interviewed by Keith Andrew.
Whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. Never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are, who you're going to be. Just prove to them, still amount to something. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and you're watching Season 12, Episode number 1. We're on a road to 2000, and we completely finished, annihilated the goal of 100. Now we have 900 more to go to reach our goal of 2000. If you're watching the Keith Andrew Network, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Our goal for every single episode that we do is to reach 500 and more. As you heard from the recommendation before we got started, our guest has been on the show before and she's back again for a second time. With that being said, it's a real honor and privilege having you back with us. And how have you been?
Thank you, Keith, for having me back. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been great. I am super grateful to be busy, both with the acting producing front, and I don't know if this came up last time, but I'm also an architect, so I'm a busy girl, and I'm super grateful to be busy.
No, absolutely. So the first subject I want to give our viewers actually a refresher. It's icebreakers. Last time we talked, we did not have special effects. Now we do have special effects. So with icebreakers, it's really cool. It has ice over the screen. Just tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from the Midwest, Minneapolis, recruited to Seattle, a beautiful city, gorgeous, but just it's a little too damp for my taste. So moved to the sunny California.
No, absolutely. What did you major in when you were in college? Were you a study nerd or party animal?
I'm not an or girl, I'm an and girl. So I can do it all. So I went to the University of Minnesota and I got a bachelor's degree in architecture. And yes, I was in a sorority. So yeah, but I would say not crazy, but we all have to learn life balance skills, right?
No, absolutely. Did you do any sports growing up?
Tennis. I played varsity tennis, and actually, I just started playing tennis again, and I love it. It's so much fun. Did a little bit of volleyball, intramurals volleyball, and tried the volleyball team for a couple, actually just 1 year, 'cause they had to get up. Practice was at 6 a.m., and I was like, yeah, I don't like it that much, and I'm not exactly tall, so I'm like, perhaps it's not my strength. So I just stuck to tennis, singles, varsity singles.
What about, did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids or not into that?
I've never done that.
I'm a loser. I like that stuff.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's always good. It's a workout, it's an exercise. You're bringing people together, you're connecting, and it's just fun. It's a fun activity.
It's
Oh, go ahead.
fun, but you also have to be strategic a little bit, like who's strong and like smallest person at the top, and strength and balance. So it has a little bit of strategy involved.
Would you consider it a sport?
What I consider a sport. Um, that's a really good question. I didn't know it was a sport. Maybe, why not?
It's funny because in Spain, it's a tradition. Well, they do those human towers. Yes, I talk with my hands. You do those human towers that's completely different. Same, but completely different. In Japan, they actually have it on sports day. So I thought that was really interesting, actually, an original idea. I think everyone should do that on sports day.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Fun.
So the next one I want to ask you is social media. Can social media make you or break you with everything that you accomplish in your life? Is there any websites you give thanks to? What do you use religiously? Is it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Is there any websites you would recommend saying, I would recommend you using these sites and you will get opportunities?
Um, I think that's a real mixed bag. I mean, I don't think social media, well, caveat. For most people, I don't think social media makes you, but however, you have these influencers that have, millions of followers and then they get, and they're getting paid millions of dollars. So did that make them? That's kind of hard to argue. Acting wise, I believe that you have to have a presence and you should be active on social media, but it should always be authentic. I think people can see when it's not you're just posting stuff to post. I actually have a team because I'm not really good at it, and so I have a team that helps me. And they help give me ideas, and they just help me be more aware of actually it being in the moment and taking advantage of taking pictures and videos in the moment. And usually I'm just trying to be in the moment and not trying to do videos. But it's a learning process. So it's something I'm trying to be better at. Oh, but I think Instagram, I think Facebook is kind of sounds like it's teetering out. So it seems like it's older people like the Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I think I have a TikTok, but I'm not very active. But Instagram is, I think you have to have Instagram. I
Oh,
recommend it.
no, absolutely. For me, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, YouTube. Let's see, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really use it. Yes, I'm on TikTok, so those are my top six. I tried using it like a couple upper ones like Snapchat, couldn't get into it. But eventually, I was talking to my brother about this. Eventually, something will replace Facebook. Remember a couple of days ago when Facebook had that shutdown, there's no Facebook and there's no Instagram. And at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, you can have LinkedIn, you can have a couple other websites, but at the same time, you're kind of handcuffed because you kind of need Facebook and you need Instagram. I mean, there's other websites too, probably, like Backstage, Actor Access, but those are mostly paid sites. Besides Facebook in the top four that we were just talking about, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and LinkedIn, so top five. Is there any ones you would highly recommend saying, this is where I spend most of my time on?
Like I said, I think Instagram is a must. I'm on all of them as well. Facebook, Facebook Pro, Instagram. I'm sorry, Twitter, and well, X, and what was it, LinkedIn. I'm on all of the sites. And I think that's important, but I probably spend more time on Instagram going through people's accounts and the feed and see what pops up. But I can get like LinkedIn, I'll get like an invite, and then I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. So I can spend a little time on LinkedIn as well. But you mentioned Actors Access. That is very specific to actors. So if you are an actor, you have to be on Actors Access. So that's what, and the casting networks. It's just a no-brainer. That's like you're doing it. It's part of the biz.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was actually I mean, obviously this is gonna sound stupid because people are like, oh, but that's what LinkedIn's for. If there's a professional website where you can just meet professional people, even celebrities for that matter, and say, hey, this is my message, instead of, because there's hundreds and thousands, and it's kind of creepy if you think about it, hundreds and thousands of people impersonating celebrities. There should be one website where you have to register and you say, this is the real person. And that would be really nice. It could cut all the BS out. No more people impersonating celebrities. If you impersonate a celebrity, you'd be hit with a fine. There should be, repercussions for that. But there should be a website that's only meant for professionals. And I know LinkedIn kind of falls under that category, but not. Let me ask you something. What draws you to Facebook over LinkedIn, or what draws you to LinkedIn over Facebook? Do you think LinkedIn could be better? Do you think LinkedIn could be the next Facebook?
I feel like LinkedIn is more um, for professionals. I feel like it's in that vein, whereas Facebook is just more, it's fun, and people, I mean, definitely people have accounts, business accounts on Facebook, and they're, promoting whatever their product is. Um, I just think it's all necessary. It's like you have to kind of do it all and have a presence everywhere, I think.
No, you're absolutely right. Now, the next question I want to talk to you about is next subject is climbing the stairs. It's really cool. It's climbing the stairs, the guy walking up the stairs. So when you started your career, what was the very first step that you had to take, and how did you proceed in your career that you wanted to?
Well, in acting, I think the first step is take classes. You have to do the work, do scene work, and you have to do a lot of it. And then when you feel or you're sometimes encouraged by your teacher to take the next steps, well, that would mean getting an agent. So how do you get an agent? Well, you need to get, headshots. Getting headshots doesn't mean you're going to get an agent, but it's like you need headshots. Typically, I've heard people get an agent without headshots, but I don't think that's the norm. Um, Oh, for steps. It helps to have some work. I know it's kind of reverse, but if you can get cast in student films, short films, projects to get real, agents, prospective agents, and even jobs with casting, they want to see clips of work. So, and how do you do that? You can either one, you get cast, or you can self-produce. I know a lot there, and there's place where you can do scenes that they put together for real. So like all these are like prerequisites, but it's still, you can have all that, you can still not get an agent. So you have to be firing on all cylinders. And I hate to say it, and I'm a terrible networker. I don't think that's the word, but you have to get out of the house. You have to put yourself in places that you can meet people authentically, and not in a cheesy way, but authentically connect with people. I
No,
think you have to
yeah,
do it all.
I agree with you 100%. And I didn't mean to interrupt. I do apologize.
Oh, you did. It's me.
So this one, let's do like a little rapid fire questions, so we can have fun with it. Do you? Okay, let me again. Do you or do you not pay people to represent you?
No, I pay commission, that's different.
A lot of people are like, I keep coming across these people like, oh, hey, I'm a production person. You want me to represent you? You want me to work with you? You have to pay me a fee. And a lot of people are like, well, you don't pay someone to represent you. They get a commission from what you earned. Have you ever been conned, or have you ever fell into a trap like that?
No, because that's a red flag. I mean, this is all about education, but and having friends, but everyone out there knows if you have to pay someone to represent you, that's a no. That's a red flag.
Absolutely.
I should say, I mean, I hope everyone knows that, but most people do, and sometimes, like you said, people find out the hard way.
No, I agree with you. I've been suckered in. I haven't paid anyone, but I've been suckered into that, conversation. But the other one I asked you, you mentioned doing video auditions. Would you consider doing a YouTube show and interviews, kind of like doing video auditions, or is it two different things?
Yeah, they're two different things.
I thought it was a good idea to act because after doing 1,000 interviews, I thought, oh, that's really good. I can put that into a little tiny little package, make it audition video. Anyway, that
Well,
was
usually, so in an audition, typically they want to see a scene. in the days in the room where they would meet, sometimes there's like a little meet and greet. They tell something about yourself. They're getting to know your personality, and then the scene that rarely happens. Sometimes in commercials, sometimes they'll be where they want some information like that, kind of like a interview. But typically it's slate, which means your name, sometimes your location, and the scene. And then if so, and now they're casting off the first audition, and so sometimes there's usually a callback, and sometimes the callback would be over Zoom, and then that kind of interview could happen. I know at the callback via Zoom.
Oh, that's good to know for our viewers. And the next one I want to ask you, because you've been acting for a long time, how hard is it to build a character for that certain film? Like if you were on a CSI, if you were on Blue Bloods, and they tell you this is the character you have to play, how hard is it to build your own version of that character?
Um, Sorry. I personally don't think, well, it's hard because it's if it's you, it's your character. However, that being said, there's a lot of homework that has to be done on what kind of, if this is a cop, okay, I'm not a cop. So one has to do some homework, but not just a cop. Like, what's her background? Like, what's her backstory? Usually they give you some information of, the backstory. And if they don't, then you have to make it up your own and make it sense to you. So, and sometimes you don't have a lot of time. So, and then also these series are long running. These people are, they're constant, their characters, developing, constantly. So, but typically, most auditions they're so short. There's not a lot of time. You just got to break it down. We all have kind of our a routine of how we break it down, and that personalizes it. And then you throw it away and you play, and it's go time.
Now, the next subject I want to talk to you about is people with disabilities, or anyone who has disabilities who wants to become an actor and follow in your footsteps with everything that you accomplished in your career. Do you feel that well, let me ask you in a different way. With everything that you accomplished, do you feel like you have enough experience to coach anyone? Like, if I came to you, do you think you have enough experience to coach me in the right direction?
Probably not. I mean, I feel like I am still growing. I have so far to go. I myself am learning. Could I give some basic coaching? Absolutely. But I would probably set you up with someone who knows more than I do. Like I have amazing coaches, and I would want you to get in front of these amazing coaches because that would you know, just 10 times. It would bring you like your part to more depth, more rich.
No, absolutely. And I have interviewed people who have been in wheelchairs and they, say, well, my agent, my publicist said, I can't do any standing roles. Obviously, you're not going to do any standing roles if you're in a wheelchair. But just because you're in a wheelchair does not mean you can't be on TV or films. There's sometimes where you can sit on the couch or they put you in the chair or you're at the table. So as long as you're still, acting and you can connect with the audience, people don't have to know the fact that you're in a wheelchair. It's not like it's like out in the open. For an example, I have a disability, but I'm a good entertainer. Well, I like to be, but I'm a good entertainer. But people don't need to know too much of that aspect, if that makes any sense. You don't need to, shove things in people's faces. Do you agree or disagree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree.
Now, the next one I want to ask you is, have you processed or proceed? Did you proceed in your career as you always wanted to?
No. And that's so funny. People are like, can you help me? And I'm like, do I look like I know it all? Hardly. No, I am still looking for, TV credits, interesting roles and features, and which I have some coming up. So I'm super excited about those, some of those feature films. No, I'm certainly just learning myself.
Well, this one's a perfect question I want to ask you. How, with all the performances that you gave, and you gave great performances, how was there ever a time when you felt like you delivered a quality performance? And how was it received?
Um, yeah, this film I did it in on the East Coast, where I'm lake in my mind. The Legend of Lake Ronkonkoma. This film, I worked with this director before, Maria Cap, and it was a story about a mom, and she's on the phone, she's looking at her kid, she's on a lake, and she thinks her son, well, I tell him to stay put, but he runs off, and I assume he's in the water. I assume he's drowned. And I get into the water, and this was not written. They writ this. That, are you okay going to the lake? Are you okay? And they totally wrote it in, and I am like that guttural, you're just so scared that your child is, drowned. So that performance, I am super, super proud of. I can't wait to see it. And yes, I received a lot of accolades from the director and the crew.
What is difficult about acting for you and for people who have disabilities that are hesitant about being actors or just being out in the open? What are some of your words of advice?
My words for advice for anyone with disabilities or not is to follow your passion and follow your dreams, but do it smartly and get in the right classes, have the right coaches. Mindset is so, so important. And be around like-minded people. No, none of us need anyone bringing us down.
Absolutely. You are, and I deal with this on an everyday basis. You are your own worst enemy.
True, true, true. However, um, I'm really working on that. I am really taking that on and being, being waking up, being grateful for who I am, for what I have, what I can contribute in the world. Because yes, in the past, we can be very hard on ourselves. And I look back at some of the things, I'm like, why, what was I thinking? Why was I so, so hard on myself? So I want to be more graceful with myself in my journey.
Have you ever been in a position where you get yourself all pumped up, it's like, yeah, I can do this, I'm excited, and someone in the background, you're on an acting set, for an example, someone has a conversation and they mention you, and it completely shatters you like a house of cards. Have that I can speak part of disability. Has that ever happened to you where you got like, I can do this, this is great, I can't wait, and some idiot in a corner of a room says something and like you completely ruined it. I was in the spot, it was completely horrible. Has that ever happened to you?
No, it has not. But again, I haven't done, tons of TV, where other people have a lot more credits than I do, and that kind of crazy stuff, I'm sure happens. But I've been spared just probably because of the lack of credits, to be honest.
For that, I am guilty of that. I do work on getting myself in the right mindset. And unfortunately, I do live at home, but sometimes my brother and my sister would have a conversation and it would just break my concentration. And I'm like, oh crap, now I have to do this all over again. But it's all about tuning out background noises. When you're in the zone, when you're doing what you love, to hell with what they think, to hell with what they say. You're doing what you love, and no one has the right to take that away from you. Do you agree or disagree?
100% agree. I mean, when you're in the zone, you don't notice anyone around you. You're so focused, and I think that's the perfect word, in the zone.
Now, my last question for you, do have a couple questions for you off the air. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show for a second time, were you taken back? What made you say yes?
Um, well, one, why not? I thought that would be fun. I know we're talking about different things. And the last time, a little embarrassed, I wasn't, something happened with the timing. And so, I, I didn't look the way I wanted to look. So that's the vanity of it. Um, so that's just being dumb, but and honest, I guess. But no, I think it's always good to and this is good practice, right? Being interviewed is for you asking questions, but also for me being interviewed. So I don't haven't done a lot of interviews before yet.
And the last time we did an interview was a double, and I woke you up afterwards. Not in that way, not in a
Mhm.
creepy way. I woke you up, and I was like, okay, usually I interview two people at the same time, unless they get a lot of views. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's look up, Tori London, how many times we interviewed, and we never officially did a one-on-one interview. We did a double. I'm like, you know what? I promised you we were gonna do a sit down one-on-one. I kept my word, and that's all. The reason I do double interviews is because you're never going to know the chemistry of the person. So if I put two people on the screen, you can, even if it's a dull conversation, the conversation will still be stimulated because you have other people in the room and you're feeding off the energy. I liked your energy from the first one, and I've been meaning to reach out to you to do a one-on-one episode. And also, to be fair, I think everyone should do a one, at least a one-on-one episode. So that's one reason I reached out to you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, I like the other woman. She was really fun. It created fun banter, and I think stimulated some fun conversations, and we exchanged information afterwards. So yeah, I thought it was a fun interview. But
No,
thanks for having me back.
no, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to a part two. And the other part to that question I want to ask is, how do you feel now about being back on the Keith Andrew Network? And would you recommend it to other people?
But I'm having a delightful time, and yes, absolutely, I'd recommend it to other people. Absolutely.
No, likewise. Now, with that being said, this interview will be shared on all social medias. Our goal for all our episodes is to reach 500 and more views. Once we do that, we can actually make this episode go viral. All episodes will go viral once they reach the 500 mark. Usually I'm like 100, but I'm like, you know what? Let's raise it up to the next level. You take it up to the next level. And 500 is a solid number. So like, share, comment, and once we reach 500, we will definitely do a part two. This will be shared on all social medias. And until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank you and have a good night.